Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, brought to you by BetDSI, and I'm your host, Mitchell Renz. Interact with me on Twitter and Instagram at MitchellRenz365. I have 5 players that I'm hoping the Raiders can get with their second pick in the 2019 NFL Draft. But before I get into that, I want to give a little bit of a shout out to my dude, Sports King A26. He commented on our YouTube channel, hashtag Raiders, hashtag the #1 channel on YouTube. Sports King A26, shout out to you, man. Much appreciated. And if you guys want to get on the show, subscribe below to youtube.com/Raiders Report, the #1 Raiders YouTube channel. Thanks to the awesome Raider Nation community that we have built. Again, subscribe below, youtube.com/Raiders Report. Let's now get on into the Raiders 2019 draft, and let's remember, they have 3 picks in the first round. So they have the 4th pick, the 24th pick, and the 27th. And we all knew that they need to improve that pass rush, right? They only had 13 sacks last season, and so you're going to see a lot of defensive players on my top 5, but also they do have 6 picks in the top 100. So I may refrain to the Raiders potentially trading up to getting a player that I really, really like here in the draft. And when I look at the 4th, the 24th, and the 27th, I've already released players that I hope that they can get at number 4. And here with the 24th pick, some of these players might be hoping for the best, right? Here's the thing, though. We can all hope. We all have pipe dreams. And if the Raiders can get some of these players with their second pick in the first round, I'm going to be totally digging that. All right, let's get into my wish list here with the 5th player on my list. Safety, Deionte Thompson. And he's a single high free safety, okay? I think you could compare him to Marcus Williams or a young Reggie Nelson. He's got great length, all right, and he's going to be, or he already is working into being a great athlete. Now, here's the thing, though. Gruden wants a dynamic safety. He wants a safety that can play all over the field, and that's what Thompson's going to give you. And here's the other thing, too. Dude makes plays. And at the end of the day, when I watch a player's film, if he's a baller, a big baller, probably goes and bets on chatsports.com/BetDSI. That's what I'm looking for. And at the end of the day, if the Raiders need talent, Thompson's one of those solid players. You look what he did this past season at Alabama. I mean, 78 tackles, 3.5 tackles for a loss, 2 picks, 3 forced fumbles. But the one thing that I like about him, and he's basically done this his entire career, he's always making plays and he's always around the ball. And when you look at his career stats at Alabama, 112 tackles, 3 forced fumbles, 3 picks, and that 4.5 tackles for a loss. Really talented player, and I like Thompson a lot. So, you're going to see a lot of different positions on this show, and I want to know from you, what's the Raiders' biggest focus, okay? You're walking into that draft room. You're Mike Mayock. You're John Gruden. What's your biggest focus in the draft? Is it defensive end? Is it linebacker? Is it safety, cornerback? I want to know from you if you're watching this on Facebook. If you're watching this on YouTube, I want you to comment below what position should the Raiders focus on in the draft. Next player up here, Devin Bush, linebacker, and dude just can shoot the gaps, right? I mean, he sees a hole and he just absolutely fills it. And I understand he's a little bit undersized, but he's so fast and his burst is just insane that I actually think he's kind of a perfect fit in today's NFL. And I'm not going to compare him to Roquan Smith, but when I heard a lot of people talk about Roquan being a little bit undersized last year, but the dude was fast. And Roquan had a great year with the Bears. Now, if he has a really solid combine, you could see Devin Bush shoot up a little bit. And the fact that the Raiders are looking for that impact linebacker, I really, really like me some Devin Bush. When you look at his 2018 stats at Michigan, 66 tackles, 8.5 tackles for a loss, 4.5 sacks, 0 interceptions. Now, I don't really need him to intercept the ball, but if he can at least bat a few down, that would be good. When you look at his entire career at Michigan, it's been a solid one. 172 tackles, 18.5 tackles for a loss, 10 sacks, 1 pick. Okay. Now, we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of different college football teams here, and we do a lot more here on Chat Sports than just NFL, Raiders, believe it or not. So I want you to rep your team. Who's your favorite college football team? Throw it in the comments. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Facebook, if you want to know who my favorite college football team is, DM me below at MitchellRenz365. Brian Jones, what's going on? Outstanding, bro. Keep up the good work. Do you still have that Mercury eclipse? So I'll admit, I kind of screwed this up a little bit, and I asked everybody to describe me in one word, okay? I wanted you guys to describe me in one word on YouTube, and Brian's hitting me up with outstanding, which I appreciate, but I also had a lot of people tell me that Mercury doesn't even make eclipses. It's actually, I misspoken on the show, it's a Mercury Mystique, and unfortunately I don't have that car anymore. I sold it for $300 and parts. Next word that came in here is from Brian Ayala, classy, which I appreciate, and you know, I'm a big fan of Anchorman, so I try to keep it classy on the Raiders Report. Next one coming in from Zeke, describe me in one word as dedicated, which I definitely appreciate because I've been trying to get out at least one video every single day on the Raiders Report, and I've been trying to absolutely crush the YouTube channels, and I think our channel is by far the best. Next one coming in here from PS4G, an asshole. Okay, you never give me a shout out. Well, I guess you are what you eat, and here's your shout out. Next one coming in here is from, oh boy, well, I guess we're giving PS4 a little bit more airtime than we're having. Dead Raider, what's going on? He's going to describe me in one word, but uses two. Lit AF. And I appreciate that. I think I'm lit AF. And heck, with this new background I got, I think I look pretty lit AF too. And if you guys want to look lit AF, hey, go to Mizzen+Main, go to www.comfortable.af to see for yourself, because these are the best damn dress shirts. They're made in America, super flexible, sweat wicking technology. I'm telling you, the best damn dress shirt you'll ever buy. Go to www.comfortable.af to see for yourself. Next player coming up here on my list that I want the Raiders to draft with that second pick in the first round, Mack Wilson, and I'm told that his nickname is the Mack Truck from producer Dom. Raiders are still looking for an impact linebacker, and I think with Mack Wilson, he's the best linebacker, or second best linebacker in this class. And when I asked my dude Tom Downey, go give him a follow at What Going Downey, who he's going to compare Mack Wilson to, one of his comparisons was Jordan Hicks. And he also said he could be a lesser version of Rashaan Evans. But he said he's best as a run stopper, and the dude is a great open field tackler. I would love to see if he could tackle maybe Tyreek Hill in the open field, but, you know, maybe that's a little bit down the road. When you look at what he did this past year at Bama, roll tide, right? 65 tackles, 2.5 tackles for a loss, a sack, and 2 picks. And then when you look at what he's done for his entire career, again, it's still pretty productive. 113 tackles, 7 tackles for a loss, a sack, and 6 interceptions. When I watch Mack Wilson's tape, you're going to see a freak athlete. You're going to see fluid movement, all right? And then you're just going to see explosion. And when he just, like, sets his foot in and goes after the runner, it's quick and it's instincts. And I want players who don't really even think out there, just react in instincts, because that's when you're really going to make a change, I think, from a mediocre player to an all-pro caliber player. And since Jared Cook was our only Pro Bowler, we need some of those. All right. Should the Raiders trade the number 4 pick? I want you to type Y for yes or type N for no. The reason why I'm asking is because these next 2 players on my list, I really don't think are going to fall to pick 24. And I would love for them to fall at pick 24, but I just don't think it's going to happen. And for that reason, I think we might have to either trade the number 4 pick to get more, or we're going to have to trade up. So should the Raiders trade the number 4 pick? Y for yes, N for no. My next player on the board, I freaking love this guy, Montez Sweat. And I don't know if you're watching reports or listening to reports, but he's just straight up dominating at Senior Bowl, and he's dominating at the practices, and the coaches are super impressed. And I've actually heard that he could actually climb into the top 10. So 6'6", 250 pounds, 35 and 5/8 inch arms. You know what they say about long arms, don't you, right? Long shirts from Mizzen+Main. No, I'm kidding. But he led the SEC in sacks with 11 in 2017 and tackles for loss in 16. Like, Montez Sweat has got the length, the freakish athletic ability to absolutely dominate, and I love watching Sweat. Heck, I asked our dude Tom, and I'm going to reference Tom because he's the best in the biz when it comes to the draft. He said he has the upside of DeMarcus Lawrence. There's a reason why DeMarcus Lawrence is our number 1 free agent. The dude is unbelievable, and he just absolutely wrecks games. Imagine if the Raiders could get Montez Sweat with their second pick. Their second pick. Would love it. In 2018, here are his season stats. 53 tackles, 14.5 tackles for a loss, 12 sacks, and a forced fumble. That's in the SEC, which I don't know if you heard, is a pretty good conference. When you look at his career stats at Mississippi State, 105 tackles, 30.5 tackles for a loss. Oh, my Lord. 23.5 sacks and 1 forced fumble. I'm telling you right now, Montez Sweat is going to be a player that a lot of people need to keep their eye on because this dude's an absolute freak. So, I got a question from you. Who's your sleeper draft pick? And the reason why I'm asking is because Sweat was mine. I released a video, I'm going to say about a month and a half, 2 months ago, that said I would love for Sweat to go to the Raiders at pick 24. And when I was looking at some mocks, he was even going later than that. And now I'm hearing rumors that he could even be a top 10 pick. That'd be pretty mind-blowing to me. So I want you to comment below. All right, you guys are always trying to brag. Who's your sleeper draft pick? I want to know. And you want to tweet at me at Mitchell Renz 365. If it's a good one, maybe I'll throw you a retweet. My top player that I want the Raiders to get, the top player on my wish list, is Devin White. White, to me, is the top linebacker in this year's class. And I asked Tom, give me a comparison. He has the upside like Bobby Wagner. Bobby Wagner's pretty freaking good, too. And I think that he could actually replace that void left behind by Khalil Mack because he's super physical. An absolutely amazing run stopper. Sideline to sideline speed, which I don't think people realize how important that is in today's NFL. There's so much speed. There is so much speed in the NFL in today's game that you need to have that sideline to sideline speed. Now, here are the other two things that I love about him. The high upside, okay, and a locker room leader. I think he's a Gruden grinder, and when I watch Devin White, when I watch him on the sidelines, when I watch him interact with coaches and players on the sideline at LSU, he's learning. And you can always tell when a player actually takes in what their coach says. I mean, some players are just kind of sitting there, just kind of like, oh, yeah, whatever, coach. And then you got Devin White. Eye contact with his coaches, nodding his head. He's a learner, and when a player's this talented and wants to learn and get better, that's truly special. When you look at 2018, 123 tackles, which is insane, 3 sacks, 3 forced fumbles. His career numbers at LSU are absolutely eye-popping. 286 tackles, 8.5 sacks, an interception, and 4 forced fumbles. Like, when I watch Devin White, he is everything that I would imagine a great Raiders linebacker being. And if there's a player that could fill that Khalil Mack void, man, I would absolutely love to see it. So those are my 5 players. Name one player that you think the Raiders should draft, okay? I want to know from everybody watching. All right, the show isn't about me. It's about you. Name one player the Raiders should draft. I want you to comment below, or you can hit me up on IG or Twitter at Mitchell Renz 365. Raider Nation, what's going on? Is this the #1 Raiders channel on YouTube? For Chucky Heads, believe it, baby. And if you haven't already, subscribe right here. I'm giving you Chucky Heads, news, rumors, Raider Nation rumors. And look at this, I'm making your life easier. Check out my next video. Thanks for watching, and go Raiders.